Good evening. Thanks for joining us. With the events of the last 7 days, we ended up with a peculiar week on our hands. Issues, stories, and events amplified the second part of Malam Melekari's corporate vision of performance excellence. Significant progress recorded in frontier business exploration, articulating corporate key performance indicators, KPIs, to deliver on KPAs, key performance areas, with timelines and signing of performance bonds by top management. Then, clarifications. The true story of what actually happened on the Abura crude trunk line, and also the true story of redeployments at the NPDC. It's also about performance excellence when NNPC GMD assures of sustained partnership with host communities, even as it tasks depot staff to be transparent and accountable, plus 2 slices of history and retrospect. First, of the good news about GDP in Q2 2019, and the not so cheering news of pipeline breaks record dating back 18 years. There's also something on security. It's a breathless edition. You cannot afford to take a leave till the end. My name is Akin Agbejule. This is all on Gas Forum.
The GMD and his management team, it's a wonderful team. He's a man of integrity, and we expect that he's going to take NNPC to the next level.
NNPC is doing a great job. They have shown that they have the interest and commitment not only in their primary duties but also in building the community around them. They've created this platform to challenge students and also to reward them for academic excellence.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Let's check the highlights. Things are looking brighter than ever with frontier business exploration efforts. 3 million barrels per day target in sight, looking up to the nation's reserve of 40 billion barrels in 2023. Abura crude trunk line did not explode, NNPC GMD has confirmed, even as he assured of sustained partnership with host communities. TAPE, the master driver of this new focus of NNPC, asked depot staff to also uphold it. NPDC's redeployment, it's all about production optimization. Oil stability of Q2 2019 evidently led to GDP fortunes. NNPC Navy to deepen collaboration against crude oil theft. We got the details just after the break.
80% of our youths that are working today are engaged by NPDC and NPDC contractors. Most of the elders who still leave home today to do security job are working also with NPDC. Scholarship, most of our children are being engaged, are being given scholarship by NPDC.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Melekari, has called on the Department of State Services, DSS, to help squelch the escalating cases of petroleum products smuggling and other allied vices, which had remained a clog in the drive to achieve efficiency in the operations of the oil and gas industry. Leading the top-level NNPC management team to the service headquarters in Abuja on a courtesy visit, Kyari, who was accorded a warm welcome by the Director General of the DSS, Alhaji Yusuf Magaji Bichi, lamented the negative impacts of the activities of smugglers and related ills in the nation's economy. He said that the intolerable implication of the reign of smuggling syndicates was that Nigeria is the unintended supplier of petroleum products to the entire west coast of Africa and beyond. Welcoming the top-level NNPC team to the DSS headquarters, Bichi, while also echoing the long history of collaboration between both establishments, assured the NNPC team of round-the-clock support. Meanwhile, the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the Nigerian Navy have also pledged to deepen collaboration to tackle the menace of crude oil theft and attacks on oil and gas facilities. The two organizations came to the resolution when the NNPC GMD, Malam Mele Kyari, paid a courtesy visit to the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibot Ete Ekwe Ibas, at the Naval Headquarters.
We recognize CNS, the enormous help and support we have gotten from the Nigerian Navy in the last 3 years, the significant and unquantifiable improvements that we have gotten in our marine operations, such that incidences, particularly in the offshore operations, are quite minimal.
In his presentation, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibot Ekwe Ibas, said the Navy was currently working at integrating its system with those of other marine operators such as Nigeria Ports Authority, NPA, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, to facilitate efficient operation.
We are going to set up a team, a technical team perhaps, to see those particular areas where these losses are taking place, so that together with our team, we can work out strategies to contain, to reduce, if not completely stop such losses.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has disclosed that it recorded a total of 45,347 pipeline breaks on its downstream pipeline network between 2001 and half-year 2019. The NNPC GMD Malam Mele Kyari made this disclosure in a keynote address at the Nigeria International Pipeline Technology and Security Conference and Exhibition organized by the Pipelines Professionals Association of Nigeria Plan in Abuja. He said in 2018 alone, a total of 19 fire incidents were recorded on the petroleum products pipelines, stressing that the theme of this year's conference, Pipelines Assets, Critical Backbone for Socio-Economic Development, resonated with the thinking at the NNPC on the need to reinforce the narrative of the critical role of pipeline assets to the nation's energy security and economic progress.
And as a major player in the oil and gas industry, NNPC operates over 5,000 kilometers of pipeline in conjunction with our partners, traversing many communities, linking oil terminals, 3 refineries, 20 fuel depots for the efficient transportation of products, as we're all aware.
He lamented that these huge pipeline assets have become difficult to operate efficiently as a result of incessant activities of vandals and other criminal syndicates that were becoming increasingly sophisticated. Earlier in his opening remarks, the chairman of Plan, Jeff Onoha, described the nation's pipelines as the arteries driving the prosperity of the national economy, assuring the management of NNPC of Plan's support to enable her run its pipelines efficiently.
Pipelines are important, are very important, and we look at them as the arteries. You know, the importance of the arteries, that's a good analogy, that's the artery that drives our economy.
In his submission, the Director General of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Engineer Chidi Izua, advocated for the adoption of the Public-Private Partnership PPP model as a solution to the funding challenge hampering the expansion and modernization of the nation's infrastructure.
The Infrastructure Concession Commission is willing to work with you, sir, to bring in private capital to transform our oil and gas, particularly around the pipeline infrastructure.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, has revealed that significant progress has been made in the ongoing exploration of inland basins, adding that the target of growing the nation's reserves to 40 billion barrels by 2023 was realistic and achievable. Malam Kyari made this submission when he received the leadership of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NEPI, at the NNPC Towers, Abuja.
I would like to tell you that we have made significant progress in the frontier basins, and hopefully the frontier basin will become part of the reserve additions that we'll see coming in the next couple of years.
Earlier, President of NAPI, Mr. Ajibola Oyebamiji, congratulated Malam Kyari on his well-deserved appointment and assured him of the association's support in growing the nation's reserve base.
This is what we call a square peg in a square hole. or a round peg in a round hole. Because he's a professional, he's a geologist, he's one of us, he's an active member of NAPI, and this is one of the things that we have been asking for in the industry.
Keen on delivering on its mandate, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, has charged members of his management team to work assiduously to deliver on the key priority areas of growing the nation's crude oil reserves and production, ensuring steady supply of petroleum products, and supplying adequate gas to meet the next level agenda of the federal government. Mele Kyari gave the charge to the chief operating officers of the various autonomous business units ABUs of the corporation at a sign-off event held for the COOs to formally commit to the delivery of the key priority areas at the NNPC towers, Abuja.
I am very convinced that we can deliver on this. We have enormous benefit of goodwill, not just from our principal, but from the internality of Nigeria. They think we can do something differently.
He maintained that the clear goal of his management was to drive an NNPC that is transparent and accountable with performance excellence TAPE tape, stressing that the milestones for all the ABUs and the strategic business units SBUs would be delivered within the timelines.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has assured that it has enough stock of aviation fuel to meet the needs of airline operators and other consumers of the product. A press release by the corporation's spokesman, Ndu Uhamadu, stated that the assurance became necessary to douse rumors in certain quarters that there was shortage of aviation fuel in the country. The corporation stated that contrary to insinuations of shortage, there is a stock of over 80 million liters of aviation fuel in its storage, enough to last for over 37 days at current daily consumption, even if more cargoes of the products were not imported within the period. NNPC therefore enjoined airline operators and other consumers of the product to discountenance the rumors and go about their businesses without fear or distraction.
Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, has disclaimed reports of explosion on the Abura crude trunk line operated by the corporation. The line, situated at Otu Jeremy Town in Ueli, Delta State, which is operated by the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, NPDC, NNPC's upstream subsidiary, was reported to have gone up in flames by a section of the media.
It wasn't an explosion, it was a rupture on our pipeline. Our team have moved to site, and in 3 days we are going to fix it.
On the upstream golf tournament, he said the Benin Golf Club was very important to the NNPC because it availed the staff of the various operations of the corporation in Benin City the opportunity to work and maintain a healthy lifestyle through the game of golf. Earlier in his remarks, the captain of the Benin Golf Club, Prince Agatise Erediawa, said NNPC had an age-long relationship with the club, which was in line with its corporate social responsibility CSR policy.
Benin Club is like is the embodiment of tourism and social interaction, you know, like most golf clubs are in major cities.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, has assured host communities of oil and gas installations of sustained and symbiotic engagement with the national oil company in such a way as to entrench mutually beneficial partnership with the industry. The NNPC GMD made the pledge in response to a message of goodwill on his appointment by the host communities of oil installations in the Niger Delta during a recent visit to the NNPC Towers, Abuja, led by its leader, Comrade Atuake Solomon, and organizing secretary, Dr. Peter Ikeagu. The GMD said the corporation would expand the prevailing cordial relationship with its various host communities to achieve set goals and targets in this regard. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has clarified the redeployment of 12 management staff of its flagship upstream subsidiary, saying that it was aimed at repositioning the company to meet its production and reserve targets. Addressing newsmen at the NNPC towers, the NNPC Chief Operating Officer upstream, Mr. Roland Ewubare, said the reorganization became imperative following the urgent need of the current management to grow the NPDC into a big-time exploration and production player in the country.
Our initial assessment of NPDC after we got into office was that many of the personnel there were not fit for purpose. Between a combination of incompetence, compromise, and just sheer negligence, they haven't provided the optimal level of leadership that we expect in a company of that size. So what we did was, as a routine measure, all right, effected some changes in the leadership of the asset managers.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has expressed its determination to aggressively grow domestic gas utilization in country to 5 billion cubic feet of gas per day from its current 1.7 billion cubic feet of gas per day by 2022. Chief Operating Officer, Gas and Power, Engineer Yusuf Usman, made this known while delivering a paper entitled Strategies for Ensuring Infrastructural Growth for a Robust Gas Industry and Utilization at the Nigeria International Pipeline Technology and Security Conference in Abuja.
By our projection, we see a significant growth in demand, and therefore we have to enable this demand. And the only way you do that is by reaching out to those demand centers with gas. And we are determined to do that. We are determined to deliver all our projects on the timeline that we have promised.
Engineer Usman stated that the completion of the 3 major domestic gas transmission systems would add 6.8 billion cubic feet of gas per day capacity, saying that the 36-inch Escrovos to Lagos pipelines, ELPS 1 and 2, with 2.2 billion cubic feet per day capacity will be completed in the 4th quarter of this year.
The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has said that the country's gross domestic product GDP performance was aided by stability in oil output as well as the successful political transition. It noted that the oil sector contributed 8.82% of total real GDP, while the non-oil sector contributed 91.2% to the nation's GDP during the period. In Q2 2019, Nigeria recorded average daily oil production of 1.98 million barrels per day, or 7.6% higher than the daily average production of 1.84 million barrels per day recorded in the same quarter of 2018, but slightly less than output recorded in Q1 2019. The oil sector posted a real growth rate of 5.15% year-on-year in Q2 2019, representing a 9.10% point increase relative to the rate recorded in the corresponding quarter of 2018.
Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, was established on the 1st of April 1977 by Decree 33. Since the establishment of the corporation, it has had 19 group managing directors, with Malam Mele Kyari on the saddle since 8 July 2019. Our roving camera on the street is asking Nigerians the number of GMDs that they can remember.
I think I can remember Mohammed Bokindo, the president of PEC-SECGEN. I can remember the immediate past Baru. I can remember Andrew Yakubu.
The one I can remember is the previous one, that is Mele Kyari. Actually, during his inauguration ceremony, it was quite remarkable.
Dr. Maikanti Baru, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, both of them are individuals that came from a very deep background in the oil and gas sector.
Past group managing director, which is Maikanti Baru. I saw Maikanti Baru as a go-getter.
I can remember Gaius Obasike. I can remember Yakubu. I can remember Funsukuluki, something like that. And I can remember the current one, Mele Kiari. We have Mr. Thomas John, even though then I was a baby.
Yes, I happen to remember Dakuru, Desmond Dakuru, who is now the Royal Highness in Bayelsa State. And I remember Yaradua then, and then I remember the one in OPEC now, Bakido.
Yes, apart from the Yakubu that we know, the former Yakubu that was, I don't think he's there again. So I don't know anything about NNPC currently.
But I know I can remember Obaseki. After Obaseki, the other man from Osun State, the one from Osun State, and the immediate past one. I know there are many. There are many. We just can't remember all of them now.
I can't remember anyone except Barrow was the last. And the present one, I don't really know his name.
For the purpose of education, the following illustrious Nigerians have served as the helmsman of the National Oil Company. Quite informative and educative, you would say. Stay tuned for the other segments of the program.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on this segment of the program. My name is Tola Ubobwade. Did you know that the National Engineering and Technical Company Limited, NETCO, was established in 1989 to acquire engineering technology through direct involvement in all aspects of engineering in the oil and gas and non-oil sectors of the economy? NETCO is Nigeria's premier indigenous engineering company with a strategic vision of providing basic detailed engineering, procurement and construction using state-of-the-art technology. Did you know that NETCO was a joint venture with NNPC, an American Bechtel Incorporated, and started commercial operations in 1990? The NNPC Bechtel joint venture lasted until April 30th, 1997, when Bechtel exercised its rights under the shareholders' agreement and formally withdrew from the JV. Did you know that since the exit of Bechtel, NETCO has executed many significant projects and was awarded the prestigious ISO 9001 quality certificate in May 2000 by Bureau Veritas Quality International BVQI? Now you know. Please stay tuned for the rest of the program.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil edged further above $60 per barrel as hopes of progress in resolving the US-China trade row boosted investor sentiment, although a report showing US crude inventories rose unexpectedly weighed on prices. Benchmark crude was up 17 cents at $60.87 per barrel, having earlier falling to $60.25. US West Texas Intermediate WTI crude rose 1 cent to $56.27 per barrel. Crude had gained more than 4% as positive Chinese economic data sparked a wider market rally. Still, the American Petroleum Institute (API) and industry group said US crude stockpiles rose by 400,000 barrels last week, whereas analysts had expected a fall. The prolonged US-China trade dispute has been a dampener on oil prices, but Brent is still up 12% this year, helped by production cuts led by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) and its allies, including Russia. Also putting downward pressure on prices has been mounting evidence of slowing economic growth worldwide, which has prompted analysts to lower forecasts for oil demand growth. And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Owigo Okolo.
Well, for those out there, you can always make it on stage. You can always win. Just work hard, focus, and everything will come your way.
Well, that's been some breathless package of Oil and Gas Forum this week. We hope you found some delightful takeaways in it. The week officially starts now on behalf of NNPC. Make yours count and profitable. Got a date next week.